Hey guys, Luke with Logical Lacrosse here, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. This is the start of a brand new series, which I'm going to call 10 Mistakes High School Players Make. So this video is going to be geared more towards you youth players that haven't fully developed yet, and it'll be to help you become a better player and hopefully get recruited by whatever college you want to go to. So let's get started. So the first mistake a lot of high school players make, and I've coached some at the high school level, is they do not do nearly enough wall ball. I remember I'm not going to name names, but I was talking to a kid, and he was asking me how to get recruited because I coached the Air Force last year, and I told him, I said, first things first is you got to do a lot of wall ball if you want to get noticed, because coaches are going to notice your stick skills first and foremost. And I talked to him about 2 weeks later about the wall ball, and I said, hey, have you been doing more wall ball? And he was like, oh yeah, coach, I've been doing so much more. I used to do it once a week, and now I do it 3 times a week. And I was just kind of like, dude, I mean, you cannot get away with doing it 3 times a week. I mean, if you want to be an elite player, whatever level you're at, if you're C team, you want to bump up to JV, or if you're JV, you want to bump up to varsity. If you're varsity and you want to bump up to All-State and get some D1 looks, you got to be doing your wall ball basically every day. I would say if you don't do it every day, give yourself maybe one day off. We'll say you're Friday night, you're tired after school, you've had a long week, and take Friday night off, relax, don't get burned out. But if you want to be an elite player at the high school level and make significant jumps in your game, you gotta be doing your wall ball every day. So next on the list is players that do the wall ball, but they do not work their offhand. I've definitely found a couple of these guys before. Say I'm a lefty, so say I just go and do 200 reps on my left arm, and then I don't do my right arm at all. That is something, if you want to be a really good player, a full player, and get the most out of your potential, you gotta do every arm. I mean, some guys kind of skimp on it a little bit too. They'll do, say, 100 left and then 50 right. Just do the same thing even. It's kind of like if you're doing bicep curls, imagine if you just did bicep curls with your right arm and you never worked your left. Like, you look pretty stupid. So if you were doing wall ball, make sure you do both hands. I know I hate doing my right hand, guys. I do not enjoy doing it. But if you really need some help, what I do is I put on some headphones, I put on some music, and I just kind of rep it out and get it done. I make sure it's accurate. When you do your wall ball, make sure you treat it seriously. I mean, the best way you're going to get better is to treat it seriously. What I like to do when I do it is I aim at a little dot on my rebound or whatever wall I'm at, and I kind of pretend like I'm a quarterback in the pocket. I got to make a tight throw into coverage. So there's just something like that. But you do got to work your offhand. You cannot get away with just doing one hand. So that would be my next piece of advice. So third on the list, this one's probably one a lot of people don't think of. It's when you practice shooting, so this is more for attackmen and midfielders, but it's when you practice shooting, but you don't work shooting on the run. I was actually at a high school about last week to do my own training for my lacrosse, and there were some high school kids out on the other side of the field, and I didn't bug them because, they're doing their own thing. But they were shooting, and I noticed the whole time, because they were there for about an hour, I was there for about as long as they were, an hour, and I noticed that they just shot in the same spot. They shot these 8-yard shots with their right hand, didn't move, didn't even really pick up a ground ball or pass it to each other and shoot off the pass. They just stood there and shot these weak little shots. And guys, it's not going to happen in a game. If you want to become an elite player, especially if you're a midfielder, you will get noticed. I guarantee it. If you can have a good shot on the run, that'll score. So if you are practicing shooting, make sure you practice running down the right alley, shoot right, try to hit the left post or the left side wall. If you're going down the left alley, try to shoot the right side wall. You don't have to shoot for corners if you don't want to, but make sure you are working on your shot in the run. Have a buddy for some kind of one-timer shots where you have your stick cocked back, he passes it, you catch it and rip it right away. You got to be doing that stuff if you want to be a top-notch high school attackman or offensive midfielder. So next up is for you high schoolers or youth players, or honestly even a lot of college guys do this as well. It's only shooting underhand. And let me tell you, coaches hate this. I remember I was sitting in the office with one of the coaches at Air Force, and the kid sent us his recruiting video, and he was an attackman. And I remember, I'm not going to name which coach said it, but he said, he was just like, this kid only shoots underhand. Like, he has no other, he's not versatile. So that's kind of my warning to you kids that like to just shoot underhand. Underhand, I mean, it works in certain situations. I'm not one of those guys that says never shoot underhand. I mean, there's times it works. I mean, don't get me wrong. But do not do it all the time. I promise you that the best shot is the overhand. I think you shoot harder with it. You can be more accurate. The pros use it. I mean, the pros, the top colleges. I mean, Danowski, if you watch Duke, those guys are basically shooting overhand or three-quarters. And look how many titles those guys are won. Same with Maryland. Or they've been to a bunch of titles, and those guys shoot it. And, you know, not everyone's going to be a Lyle Thompson or Tehuka Nanticoke. You know, those guys do some crazy shots, but the best bang for your buck, you need to be shooting overhand most of the time. So next up for shooting, this is a mistake a lot of kids make. I made it when I was a short stick. It's one of the reasons I switched to a deep pull. I found I was a lot better at defense than I was offense. It is when a player fakes high and then shoots high, or if you fake low and then you shoot low, or the worst is when you like fake left and then you shoot left right into the goalie's stick. You gotta change directions on your shot. That is such a cardinal sin for a shooter to fake somewhere and then shoot exactly where he faked. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of silly. I mean, you fake, make the goalie go to where you're faking, and then you shoot exactly where you basically made the goalie go. I mean, it's kind of insanity if you ask me. So that's a thing you guys got to work on. Like, for you kids that feel rushed and that's why you do it, you've got a little more time than you think. And some of it comes with experience, especially if you're a newer player. The game will slow down. But that is something you got to be aware of. College coaches will notice that in your film, or if they see you in person or at a camp or whatever. If you're a guy that fakes somewhere and then shoots at the same exact place, they're going to notice that, and they're going to probably knock you down a little bit for that on their list of players they're looking at a camp or a tournament or something like that. So number 6 on this list is a little different, and this is not moving back to your goaltender on clears. This is something that happens all the time in the youth level, in high school. It happens in some of the colleges too, so I'm not keeping the colleges out of this. This happens. Guys get lazy, but when you are clearing, especially if you're a pole or a midi, especially in LSM, I hate it when you see the guys, the poles go up and they shoot up, and then the midi sprints off to get the the LSM sprints off to get the short stick in, and then all the other midis sprint down, and then here's the poor goalie. He's standing here, and he's like, oh my god, there's no one to pass to, and then that's when your goalie usually runs up and gets creamed. You gotta be getting open. If you run down and you notice your goaltender hasn't got the ball out of his stick yet, you need to turn back. If you don't get open, that's fine. You at least gotta make an effort. Maybe if you don't get open, it'll make the other guys that are not open for your team run back, and then maybe one of those guys will get open. Maybe you can kind of do a little sweep where not a moving pick, but you're in the way for the defenseman covering your buddy, and then he sweeps across and gets open, and he can take it up. But I don't remember how much time you have in the high school level. I don't know as much about it, but you have 20 seconds to get to the box in college, and you cannot be wasting that time making your goaltender stand there for 10 seconds. I mean, that time adds up. Maybe you're late in the game and you're down by 1 with 5 seconds. It could have been 15 seconds if you guys would have gone back to your goaltender to got open quicker and got the clear. So that's a big thing. Coaches will notice that. That's an effort thing. So you got to be going back to your goaltender if no one's helping them out. You have to be the difference. So number 7 on this list is there's always one guy on your team that will do this. So don't be this guy. Don't be the guy that's always trying to dodge through a double or triple team. That is just like, as a D-pull, I don't really see that as much at the college level occasionally, but it's usually when a guy's trying to force a play when they're down by a lot or something. Do not be that guy that attempts to dodge his way through triple or a double. If you were getting doubled or tripled, because I've seen it, it was on my high school team. A guy would do this. It would cost us games, honestly. If you're getting tripled or doubled, there has to be someone open. So you need to move the ball. You can't score every time. I hate those guys that try to break through all the guys and then they try to do some crappy underhand shot and it never gets through, or they usually drop the ball. There was a guy in my high school team senior year, and I didn't play my senior year because of a concussion, but me and my other buddy saw them play, and this guy straight up had 14 turnovers in the first half. Do not be one of those guys. So he was averaging 28 turnovers for one game. I didn't see the second half. So, I mean, you cannot be a turnover machine. Don't be a ball hog. The best teams do not go run through a double or a triple in college. You will get slaughtered doing that against a college defenseman. Those guys are way better than the high school D-pulls. Look at Denver. You never see that. They're passing it all the time. So do not be that guy that's trying to dodge through a double or triple and ruining everything for your offense. So number 8 kind of goes with running through a double or triple. It kind of has the same concept, and it's holding onto the ball too long. If you are an offensive player, I would say, I told some high schoolers, you want to have it out of the ball out of your stick in about 3 to 4 seconds. You got to move it quick. I mean, it's so nice when you're a defense, and you got a guy that gets the ball, catches it, and he just stands there for like 5 seconds, and you just stand there. And you kind of get out of your defensive position. You just kind of stand up straight. You're like, this guy's just giving me a break. You've got to move the ball fast. The only way you're going to beat the defense is you get the pass, you pass it to the next guy, you look for the skip. If there is an open skip, a guy open on crease, you got to have the ball out of your stick in 2 to 3 seconds mostly. If you look at Denver is great for this. When I had to cut tape to scout them, I mean, they were my favorite offense to watch. Why? They moved the ball so fast. It was so fluid. I mean, the game, they never dropped it, rarely, and they just moved it so fast. I mean, you could tell when the defense would get tired. I mean, they 4 counterclockwise motions, and then they switch it back to go to clockwise 3 times. I mean, the defense never stood a chance. I mean, they'd get so tired out from having to do that all the time with guys constantly cutting. So make sure if you're an offensive player and you're on offense, you need to be moving the ball quick out of your stick, or you're going to be making it easier for the opposing team's defense. So these last 2 for this video are going to be more for the defensive guys. And this first one, number 9, is trail checks. You got to watch your trail checks. I was coaching some high school kids in the summer, and this was the biggest sin. I absolutely hate the trail check. Bill Wilson, he coached me in high school, and I did a trail check one time, and he told me, and he's the head coach of Air Force now, if you want some credibility from him, he told me the best thing to do, and I agree with this, is if you're beat, don't trail check. That's basically surrendering. You're going to get that maybe once every 10 times, but it's really, I mean, a 10% conversion rate is terrible. I mean, you might as well go gamble on a slot machine in Vegas. If you get beat, don't go for a trail check. Go, and you just sprint. You got to run as fast as you can. You got to try to get side by side. Say, this is the guy with the ball. This hand's you. So you're behind him. You just got to sprint. Try to at least get to his side and kind of push him. If you can, get in front of him again. At least kind of mess up where he's going. Trail checks just surrenders your position all the way. The worst is when you're not beat, and this is the offensive guy, and we'll say the net's here, and the D pulls on him like this, and the guy's kind of hanging his stick, and then the D pull goes for a trail check like that, and then the attackman just runs around and scores. You cannot do that. That is so terrible. You got to be patient, especially if you want to play in college. I mean, I don't think high school has a shot clock, but if it comes that way, and you're going up and play collegiately, you're already getting recruited. I mean, there's a shot clock. You just got to wait until they make the mistake or come to you. You do not want to be giving up your position like that. So guys, the last one on today's video is another one for the defense, and it is not going through with your 2 or 3 slide. For those of you that don't know, say you're newer to the game, or whatever, or you just don't know, maybe you've been playing for a bit, but you haven't had a coach that told you what it is, a 2 slide is not the main slide. So you got the main slide, we'll say this guy, this hand, he's sliding and then the guy that was here that he was covering is open now, and then say you're here, just whatever, and you gotta come up. You're the 2 slide. You cover the guys who slided's man, and then the 3 slide would be so you slid to the guy who's slid, and then we'll say the 3 slides over here. He comes over and takes the guy you were on. So that's a 3 slide. So if you're a pull, you gotta watch for that. That is killer for high school defenses. That's usually why a lot of high school teams lose. I've noticed it. A lot of players make this mistake. You gotta harp on it. You gotta cover your 2 slide. Just because your buddy slides, it's not over. You gotta slide to his guy. You gotta trust the guy's gonna slide to your guy for the 3 slide or whatever. I mean, you gotta constantly be sliding. That's why I mentioned earlier, you want to move the ball so quick and to force these kind of slides. It's because it'll mess defenses up on these 2 to 3 or 4 slides. So if you're a pull, you gotta pay attention to that. Or a midi, you cannot lose track of your 2 slide. That's why, if you didn't know, if you're a younger player, when you hear a guy say, "Oh, I'm hot. I got slide. I got him." You gotta say, if you're the adjacent or if you're a crease slide, adjacent slide is when you say you're to the left of him or the right. If the guy beats him left, then you're on his left side, then you would slide. That's an adjacent. Either way, we'll say it's a crease slide. So the guy in the crease slides the man that beat his man up top, and you gotta be there. You should have already said, "I have 2 slide," especially if it's adjacent from the guy, and he goes, and you're here on defense. You gotta move up and cover the crease guy. Okay, you gotta do that. That is killer. And if you are a D-pull that can cover the 2 or 3 slide, I guarantee you, if you have it on film, or if you do it at a camp, or whatever, or a prospect day, or a D-Elite tournament, or somewhere, the good coaches will notice that you can do that. They want smart defensemen. They want guys that can make a steal right away. Of course, everyone wants that guy. But the best defensemen, like JT Giles Harris out of Duke, he's one of the best in the country. So I'd recommend watching him if you want to find the best ways to play defense. He will make the 2 slide and the 3 slide, and that's what makes him one of the better players in the country. So guys, that'll about do it for this video. If you liked it, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It helps grow the channel, and I can reach more people and help grow the game and help them understand better knowledge and become more mature in their play. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram with the same name. It's logical_lacrosse. I also have a website, which you can go to www.logicallacrosse.com. And I have all my follow-ups on the D1, D2, D3 games. I got my predictions. I had projections. They're you don't really need to look at the projections now because the season started. But I'll be following all the games all year. I'll be trying to do some more statistics. I've been trying. One guy wanted attendance. I've tried to find the attendance. Not all of the teams have attendance posted on their athletic site. But I'm doing all that, trying to get statistics, the leading scores. I'll try to follow the Toronton. Not everyone started, so it's kind of hard. I'm going to wait more mid-season for that. But I'll be sure to get more series up for high school guys to help you guys improve what college coaches notice high school players make the most mistakes on, and hopefully you found this video useful and it'll help you grow. Even if you're preseason starting, maybe you can take note of some of the things. Maybe you did some of these things. If you didn't, then that's great. I'm really happy for you. Just keep working. If you made all these mistakes that I mentioned, that's fine. What matters is you're aware of it, and now you got to start correcting it. You got plenty of time to improve, even if you're preseason star already. Just put in a little extra work, and I'm sure you'll be jumping guys that you probably thought you weren't jumping in the first place. So thank you very much, and have a good rest of your day.